Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276 and Free TV. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Dr. Olarewaju Smart as Special Advisor on National Assembly Matters, House of Representatives, replacing Honorable Ibrahim Olarewaju, who resigned to contest an elective office. Olarewaju Smart, a public policy expert and former senior special assistant to the President on Intergovernmental Affairs, brings extensive legislative experience, having served in key advisory and leadership roles in the House of Representatives, including as Chief of Staff to the Speaker. President Tinubu expressed confidence that the new appointee will strengthen coordination between the Presidency, ministries, departments and agencies, and the House of Representatives. The appointment takes effect immediately. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians that the security challenges confronting the country, particularly in the north, will soon overcome by Nigeria, saying his administration has put in place decisive measures to tackle criminal elements nationwide. Speaking through his representative at the third late General Hassan Osman Katsina Memorial Conference in Kaduna State, the president reaffirmed his commitment to protecting lives while paying tribute to the late military leader's legacy of patriotism and national unity. Tinubu also highlighted the achievements in education, infrastructure and power, citing the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund projects, new tertiary institutions, an ongoing road and electricity project as part of his administration's development agenda. Troops of Operation Hatankai have recorded another breakthrough with the surrender of a senior Islamic State West African province finance operative alongside 46 other terrorists and their family members in Borno State. The military said the suspects who managed the group's finances and logistics in Jubiram surrendered with weapons, ammunition, a motorcycle and cash, and is undergoing interrogation to provide intelligence for ongoing operations. The development, according to the theater commander, reflects increasing pressure on terrorist enclaves through sustained military and intelligence operation. The Kebbi State High Court has confirmed the abduction of Justice Farouk Hassan Bunza after armed men suspected to be bandits stormed his residence in Buza local government area shortly after he returned from Sokoto State, with security agencies launching an intensive search operation to secure his release. The Kebbi State Police Command said the Commissioner of Police immediately deployed tactical and intelligence operatives to comb surrounding communities and forest areas, assuring that efforts are ongoing to rescue the judge alive and unharmed. The state judiciary described the incident as a disturbing attack on the justice system, saying it has commenced consultations with security agencies to strengthen efforts towards the judge's safe recovery while investigations continue. Troops have rescued 5 relatives of the chairman of Bungudu local government area of Zamfara State, Nura Abdullahi, following his abduction during a deadly attack by suspected terrorists in his residence. Military authorities said the council chairman remains in captivity as security agencies intensify coordinated search and rescue operations to secure his release. The attack claimed the lives of 2 officers, a local vigilante and a civilian, highlighting the persistent insecurity confronting communities across Zamfara State. Away from security matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says the continuous voter registration exercise ends today, despite calls by opposition parties and civil society organizations for an extension to prevent eligible Nigerians from being excluded from the 2027 elections. INEC urged prospective voters to complete their registration online or at a designated center before the exercise closes, maintaining that the timetable remains unchanged. The Commission said the Electoral Act requires voter registration to end at least 90 days before an election to allow for data verification, voter register display, and the production of permanent voter cards. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has paid a courtesy visit to the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, describing the monarch as a pillar of national unity. The First Lady said the visit was to appreciate the Sultan's consistent encouragement since the administration came into office, while reaffirming the federal government's commitment to working closely with traditional institutions to promote peace, unity, and national development. In his response, the Sultan welcomed the First Lady, commended her Renewed Hope initiative, and prayed for continued success for President Bola Tinubu's administration, stressing the vital role of traditional rulers in fostering peaceful coexistence and sustainable development across the country. Moving on to Osun State, where Governor Ademola Adeleke has called for a transparent, free, and fair, credible governorship election in the state as a major test of the credibility of Nigeria's electoral and security institutions ahead of the 2027 general election. The governor, who was represented by legal practitioner Belumi Olajogbensi, made the call in Abuja during a visit to Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka. Ubong Usoro reports.
Governor Adeleke, who was represented by the legal practitioner Pelumi Olajabesi, urged the Independent National Electoral Commission, security agencies, and other stakeholders to ensure that the Osun governorship election reflects the will of the people. He described the election as a critical integrity test for INEC ahead of the 2027 general elections, stressing that the outcome would shape public confidence in Nigeria's electoral process. He also alleged that the Osun State Commissioner of Police had been compromised and called on the Inspector General of Police to ensure a neutral security architecture for the election.
That the election in Osun State must be free and fair. Today we are very, very concerned, and that is why we've written again to the British High Commission that the police in Osun State is completely compromised. The current Commissioner of Police in Osun State is literally working, is being partisan, and is working for a political party. This should not be happening at a time when Nigeria is talking about democracy.
Also speaking, legal practitioner Olufemi Franklin said the Osun governorship election should serve as a litmus test for the country's democratic institutions, urging INEC and security agencies to guarantee that voters are able to exercise their franchise freely and without intimidation.
INEC to be impartial and independent in the true sense of it. It's important that we ensure that government is not taking as a trivial matter, but rather that government is taking as the job, as a servant's job, person who is employed to serve the interests of people only and for the greater good.
The governor said concerns over the conduct of the election have been communicated to relevant authorities, including the British High Commission and the Inspector General of Police, while calling on civil society organizations and international community to closely monitor the conduct of the election. He maintained that safeguarding the integrity of the Osun governorship poll is essential to strengthening Nigeria's democracy and building confidence ahead of the 2027 general elections. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
The National Secretariat of the Nigerian Association of Patent and Proprietary Medicine Dealers of Nigeria has dissolved the Benue State Executive Committee over alleged leadership failure and irregularities surrounding its emergence. An interim committee has now been inaugurated to steer the affairs of the association and prepare the ground for a credible election. Correspondent Felicity Ndere reports.
Patent and proprietary medicine dealers, popularly known as chemists, remain a critical link in Nigeria's healthcare system, providing essential medicines and primary healthcare services to millions, particularly in rural communities where hospitals and pharmacies are limited. Concerned by internal challenges affecting its Benue State chapter, the National Secretariat of NABMED convened an extraordinary congress in Makurdi to chart a new course for the association. The National Organizing Secretary, NAPMED, tasked the newly inaugurated committee leadership to restore unity, strengthen internal governance, and ensure compliance with the association constitution and updating its membership database ahead of fresh elections.
The national body decided today that they should come and dissolve that interim government which they put previously and constitute this one to serve for some months so that they can prepare formally election. They should be able to incorporate everybody who call himself a NAPMED to belong to a database which we have.
Also speaking, President of the Kogi State chapter of NAPMED, Muazu Abubakar, reaffirmed the vital role of NAPMED in expanding access to healthcare, especially in communities where they remain the first and sometimes only point of medical assistance. He dismissed allegations that members are quacks, maintaining that they operate strictly within the limits of medicines approved by relevant regulatory authorities and complement healthcare delivery across the country.
And WHO have seen that and has advised the government to use us in the health sector to reach the downcasted commoners that cannot even afford hospital bills.
Responding on behalf of the newly inaugurated committee, Chairman of the Interim Committee, David Ike Ozigbondu, pledged to rebuild trust, promote transparency, and reposition the Benue chapter for effective service delivery.
We are going to have a new NAPMED. Therefore, we must put a smile in the face of our people. We dance all outside our scope. We know our limitations. And we have task force that goes around to fish all those shenanigans.
With the interim committee now in place, attention shifts to restoring stability, strengthening the association structures, and preparing for a transparent electoral process in the Benue State chapter. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndare, reporting for Global Television News.
Chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has called on traditional rulers, parents, and community leaders to intensify efforts against drug abuse and illicit trafficking across the country. Speaking in Ogun State, Marwa said stronger community partnership are essential to protecting public health and national security, urging parents to monitor their children and youth to reject illicit drugs. He also appealed to traditional institutions to establish community advocacy networks and monitor suspicious activities following recent discoveries of clandestine drug laboratories across the country. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. News Cycle continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Thanks for joining us. Let's begin along the coast where it's going to be another very wet day. Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, some parts of Akwa Ibom and Cross River should prepare for persistent, moderate to heavy rainfall lasting through much of the day. Some locations could receive up to about 100 millimeters of rain, significantly increasing the risk of flooding, especially in low-lying and flood-prone communities. Across the southwest, including Lagos, Ogun, and parts of Ondo, expect a quieter start with light morning showers before the rainfall gradually intensify into moderate afternoon rains. Meanwhile, we are closely monitoring a developing weather system over Plateau area where it is expected to strengthen and track westwards through the Federal Capital Territory and extending into parts of Kwara, Niger, and Kebbi states during the early hours of Monday. At the same time, isolated moderate showers are also possible over parts of Kaduna, Taraba, and Adamawa State. By late evening, weather activity is expected to increase across much of the northern and central region of the country, with thunderstorms becoming more widespread as we head into the night. And that's your weather forecast for Monday. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, this is the live broadcast of News Cycle on Global Television. And now to business news. The Rural Electrification Agency, REA, says Nigeria has secured $155 million in new clean energy investment to expand off-grid electricity access and strengthen renewable energy development. The agency said the investment include an $80 million debt facility for solar home systems and a $75 million partnership with United Kingdom-backed firm Mopo to deploy smart battery technology. It added that Nigeria is also emerging as a regional hub for renewable energy collaboration, with several African countries studying its rural electrification model. Still talking business, analysts have identified banking sector as their preferred investment for the third quarter of 2026 as the Nigeria Exchange sustained strong market performance. The NGX All Share Index has recorded nearly 60% year-to-date growth, driven by strong investor confidence despite concerns that high treasury yields could affect capital flows within equity market. Market experts, however, say attractive valuation following the June's correction could support another market rally. And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. The Democratic Republic of Congo has confirmed that Ebola infections have surpassed 3,000, with more than 1,350 deaths recorded as the rapidly spreading outbreak extends to 5 provinces and becomes the fastest growing epidemic of its kind in the country's history. Health authorities say the more than 750 patients remain in treatment or isolation, but response efforts have been complicated by ongoing armed conflict in the eastern Congo and a strike by 100 health workers in Bunia over unpaid performance bonuses. Officials also warned that the outbreak is caused by the Budimbu strain of Ebola virus, for which there is currently no approved vaccine or specific treatment, although researchers at the University of Oxford have begun testing an experimental vaccine. Senegal President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has launched a new political party, formally ending his alliance with former Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko after months of growing political tension. The new party, named Kire, comes as both leaders seek separate political features following a split that has reshaped Senegal's ruling establishment, to report.
Hundreds of supporters gathered in Dakar as President Bassirou Diomaye Faye officially unveiled his new political movement, Kire, a Wolof word meaning protection or shield, marking a major turning point in Senegal's political landscape. The launch attracted large crowds, with many supporters unable to enter the packed conference hall, waiting outside in the heat, waving banners and wearing scarves bearing the president's name as they celebrated what they described as a fresh political beginning. Addressing supporters, President Faye said the new party would be built on the principles of republicanism, ethics, transparency, fraternity, and hard work, insisting it would provide a stronger platform for delivering the reforms promised to Senegalese citizens. The announcement effectively formalizes Faye's political separation from Ousmane Sonko, the influential leader of the Pastef party, who played a pivotal role in Faye's rise for the presidency after being barred from contesting the 2024 election himself. The two men had campaigned together on promises of economic transformation, social justice, and a tougher fight against corruption. But disagreements over economic management, governance, and the country's growing public debt gradually strained their relationship. The political alliance finally collapsed in May when President Faye dismissed Sonko as prime minister, ending one of Senegal's most closely watched political partnership. Now, despite leaving the government, Sonko remains a dominant figure in Senegalese politics after his allies elected him Speaker of the Parliament, while Pastef Party continues to hold a commanding majority in the National Assembly. Supporters of the President Faye argue that the creation of the Kira will allow him to pursue his reform agenda without internal political division, saying the previous party structure made it difficult for him to fully implement his policies. Others remain loyal to Sonko, dismissing the defection to the president's camp and insisting PASTEF remains the country's strongest political force despite the high-profile split. The launch of the Kiraf party signals the beginning of a new chapter in Senegalese politics, with both President Faye and Ousmane Sonko now expected to build rival political movements that could shape the country's future ahead of the next electoral cycle. Mukhtar Kasim, Global TV News.
Away from Africa to Europe, where hundreds of thousands of people have fled their homes across France and Spain, as devastating wildfires continue to spread, destroying communities, overwhelming emergency services, and forcing one of France's largest peacetime evacuation operations. Authorities say the fires remain highly unpredictable as firefighters battle around the clock to contain the infernos. The report.
Entire neighborhoods have been reduced to ashes in southwest France, where aerial images from La Porge reveal rows of burnt-out homes, destroyed vehicles, and forests blackened by flames after a massive wildfire swept through the Gironde region. The fires have forced more than 300,000 people across France and Spain to abandon their homes and holiday accommodation, with thousands spending the night in emergency shelters set up inside the exhibition centers, schools, and gymnasiums. Officials say more than 200,000 people have been evacuated from France's Gironde region alone, making it one of the country's biggest peacetime civilian evacuations as firefighters continue battling blazes around the city of Bordeaux. Authorities say the fire generated a rare cloud, creating its own wind and whirlwinds that rapidly changed the direction of the flames, making the blaze difficult to predict and extremely dangerous to contain. In Spain, fresh evacuation orders have been issued near Madrid and Toledo after the fast-moving fire swept through forest and rural communities, while one person was killed in the eastern Valencia region. Residents returning to affected areas have only found the remnant of their homes, with entire streets left covered in ash, amid emergency crew members continuing to assess the scale of the destruction. Scientists say repeated heat waves and prolonged drought have created ideal conditions for fast-moving wildfires across southern Europe, warning that climate change is increasing both the frequency and intensity of such disasters. French authorities say nearly 98,000 hectares have already burnt this wildfire season, the largest area recorded in the country's history, while thousands remain displaced and uncertain when it will be safe to return home.
And now to sport. Nigeria's Super Falcons have arrived in Rabat, Morocco, ahead of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, where they will begin the defense of their continental title. The team completed a 10-day training camp in Casablanca and in preparations with a 2-1 friendly victory over Malawi as head coach Justin Madugu finalizes his squad. Nigeria will open its campaign against Malawi on Tuesday as Super Falcons chase a record-extending 11th Women's Africa Cup of Nations title. Meanwhile, the National Sports Commission has announced increased performance bonuses and instant cash reward for Nigerian athletes competing at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Under the revised package, gold medal winners will receive a total of $10,000, while silver and bronze medalists will earn $5,000 and $3,000 respectively, with part of the payment made immediately. The Commission said the improved welfare package will also include enhanced coaching incentives and a daily allowance for athletes and staff, which is aimed at motivating Team Nigeria throughout the competition. President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusau, has expressed satisfaction with the ongoing reconstruction of the Baku Kotongora Memorial Stadium in Minna. Gusau gave the commendation while inspecting the facility alongside Niger State Governor Umar Bago to assess the progress towards meeting standard for top-flight football competitions. Sadia Yakubu has details.
The inspection led by the Nigerian Football Federation President Ibrahim Gusau focused on evaluating the level of work at the stadium to ensure it meets the requirements for hosting Nigerian Premier Football League matches. Ibrahim Gusau praised the commitment of the Niger State government to restoring the facility, describing the pace and quality of work as encouraging. He assured Governor Muhammad Umar Bago of the Federation's full support in achieving the objective of returning Elite League football to Minna.
If you observe last season, Niger Tornadoes have been on and off playing at home. After some time, they will take them away, they will come back again. Now, the governor has listened to us, and then he decided to make sure that at least that stadium is put back to order, so that Niger Tornadoes will not leave Minna to go and play much elsewhere.
Responding, Governor Muhammad Umar Bago said the Bako Kwantagora Memorial Stadium had become overdue for comprehensive reconstruction, stressing that his administration is determined to ensure Niger Tornadoes play their home matches in the state. The governor described the project as one of the most ambitious sports infrastructure investments in Niger State history and reaffirmed his commitment to working closely with the Nigerian Football Federation to deliver a stadium that meets national standards. Governor Bago also took the delegation on an inspection of the football pitch at the Amadou Bahago Sports Complex, currently serving as the training base for Niger Tornadoes Football Club.
Bako Kwantagora Memorial Stadium has been there for a long time. It needs a lot of rehabilitation. So first and foremost, one of the things we did is to change the management of Niger Tornadoes. That is one. And we have also contracted the renovation of a whole of that stadium in the interim. So the NFF chairman has come to see the level of work we are doing, and he's very, very satisfied with what we are doing. We intend to complete this renovation we are doing that will accommodate other teams that are playing away in Niger State to come and play here in the next Premier League. So in the next 30 days, he's going to come here to commission the work we have done.
He further disclosed that plans are on the way to acquire adjoining properties around the stadium to pave the way for future expansion of the sporting facility. The reconstruction of Bako Kwantagora Memorial Stadium is expected to boost sports development, enhance football activities, and restore Minna as a host city for Premier League football. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
And that's it on News Cycle. Before we go, here's a quick reminder. Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276. You can also watch us on Free TV. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now displaying on your screen by using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasib. Saying a very big thank you for watching.